Good morning, everyone. So excited to have you this morning. I see Charles Phillips is here early. It's funny how this isn't going to go live except for a couple of minutes. In a couple of minutes on LinkedIn, there's a slight delay, but I could see that Charles said, Hola a todos. Hola, Charles. So thank you for being here. I'm Leslie Flowers, and this is Nicole Angai Galindo, and we are the hosts of Mind Over Matter Monday. So come on in, let us know from where you're calling. We'll have a little music for you. This is kind of a strange one, but I think it'll be fun. So let me know if you've heard this before. It's a little hard for me, but I can do it. It was the 3rd of June, another sleepy, dusty Delta day. I was out chopping cotton and my brother was a baling hay. And at dinner time we stopped and walked back to the house to eat. And Mama hollered out the back door, y'all remember to wipe your feet. And then she said, I got some good news from Choctaw Ridge. It wasn't good news. Today, Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. And Papa said to Mama as he passed around the black-eyed peas, well, Billy Joe never had a lick of sense, pass the biscuits, please. And there's 5 more acres in the lower 40 I got to plow. And Mama said it was a shame about Billy Joe anyhow. It seems like nothing ever comes to good up on Choctaw Ridge. And now Billy Joe McAllister's jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. And Brother said he recollected when he and Tom and Billy Joe and put a frog down my back at the Carroll County Picture Show. And wasn't I talking to him after church last Sunday night? I'll have another piece of apple pie, you know, it just don't seem right. I saw him at the sawmill yesterday on Choctaw Ridge. And now you tell me Billy Joe jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. And Mama said to me, child, what's happened to your appetite? Well, I've been cooking all morning and you haven't touched a single bite. And that nice young preacher, Brother Taylor, dropped by today. Said he pleased to have dinner with us on Sunday, by the way. He said he saw a girl that looked a lot like you up on Choctaw Ridge. She and Billy Joe was throwing something off the Tallahatchie Bridge. A year's come and gone since we heard the news about Billy Joe. And Brother married Becky Thompson. They bought a store in Tupelo. There was a virus going round. Papa caught it and he died last spring. Now Mama doesn't seem to want to do much of anything. And me, I spend a lot of time picking flowers up on Choctaw Ridge. And drop them into the muddy water off the Tallahatchie Bridge. morning. Isn't that a flashback? Nick, have you heard that song before? You're kidding. You've
No,
never heard
I've
it?
never heard that song.
Oh my God. This was Bobby Gentry. So if you guys have heard that song, let me know. I just love it. It's old and I haven't sung it in years. You can tell I screwed up a few things, but welcome everybody. I don't know what made me sing that one today, but thank you for allowing me to do that. And welcome. Here is our friend Nicole Angai Galindo, my co-host. And let's go ahead and kick the show off, and then I'll say hello to everyone. Here's our little trailer. Made by Nick. Okay, here we are as I try to figure out. There we go. So look who's here. We have all sorts of wonderful people here. And look, if you're on LinkedIn, go ahead and click the three dots so that you can view event details and invite anybody you would like in. Today, we're taking a look at what is it that great athletes do that the rest of us don't do or haven't learned yet. So they're doing something that we're not doing. And the percentage of supreme athletes, Olympic winners, etc., is a fraction of our population. You know this from if you've had a child or you've been in high school sports. You know that everybody wants to play, but how many are selected for a scholarship? Whether it's track or tennis or football, baseball, it doesn't matter, soccer. It's a very tiny fraction of people that have what it takes or have developed what it takes to fall in that echelon of the very best of the best. So today is the last day for this format with my wonderful co-host, Nicole Angai Galindo. What I'm going to do from this point on, and with her encouragement and her support, I am going to be interviewing and finding the top mindset experts to bring to you what they're doing. Now, you've heard a lot from me. Thank you, Nick. You've heard bunches from me, right? And you can always learn from me. The videos are there. I'm on Friday with Think and Grow Rich, right? So you can always learn from me. But now I think it's time for me to bring to you other really well-known and well-documented mindset experts, people with longevity and results, right? Anybody can say they've done this, that, or the other thing, but have they actually helped other people achieve their results? That's what I'm looking for you. I hope that's all right with you guys. We're also going to 1 hour. This will be the last week that we have anybody up on stage because it's moving to an interview series. And I'm very grateful to all of you. At 10:35, you can grab the link and come up on stage. We will end at 11. And we're doing this. I want us to do this because we have one of our own, Lydia Lowry Bustler, that has moved her show to 11 a.m. so as not to cut into this one. And so I'm cutting ours back to an hour to give her the space because she is wonderful, right? And I don't want you to miss. All right, so let me say hello. Do you see anybody that you'd like to say hello to first, Nick? You want to acknowledge anybody? We always acknowledge you because honestly, what you have to say about us is better than, what I think about myself. So I like to hear how much you appreciate us. And so we know that you'll appreciate it. So Nick, why don't you take it away? You know everybody.
Yeah, sure. I've learned so much about everyone. I guess through Leslie. Now I'm not going to be able to do it as well as she does. I'll tell you right now. All right. So, hola, Charles. It's so great to see you. Um, Charles lived down in Costa Rica. He moved back to United States. He calls me Mrs. Freckles. And the funniest thing about him, honestly, his cows that were his neighbors, I miss him talking about them. That's for sure. Um,
Moo.
so Adrian, I don't know a ton about what she does, but I will tell you that Adrian is that person that shows up everywhere. I see her on everyone's live shows, always very supportive. And I have reached out a few times in DM just to say hello, and she is so sweet. Seriously. Peter Mulfer. Okay, Peter Mulfer. My understanding is that he's a heck of a voice. I think I've heard it once or twice. And Peter, I don't know if you know Omar Zoom Party. He's doing not Zoom Party, but he's doing like a singing competition type of thing. And if you haven't signed up, send me a DM, so I'll send you the link so you can. I promised him that I would participate as well. But it's going to be all fun. And when we did the fundraiser recently for HR4U, Transformation Kitchen, Peter won the raffle for the next Legacy Anthology 2025, and he has a complimentary chapter. All right, yo, let's keep moving along here. I'm sorry, it might be on mute.
I just have to stop there and say, wow, what a prize.
Yes. Thank
What a prize. Like, that is an extremely valuable prize if you're writing in anthologies. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, that's okay. So Marjana is, I believe, from Belgrade. Did I get that right? Okay, great. And she is also somebody that always shows up. I've had the pleasure of being in a DM with her as well, with Leslie. And, you know, the people that come here to this show are just truly amazing. There's so much mutual respect and learning that goes back and forth. So, Marjana, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so this is one you're going to have to help me with because I don't want to mispronounce his name.
Well, I mean, it's Shoadul is how I'm saying it, and I don't honestly don't know a whole lot about him other than he is omnipresent in this room and in my other room. And when I see someone show up consistently like that, it really, you'll see today that consistency is a big part of our conversation. It tells me a lot about Shoadul. So I'm very glad you're here. Continue on, my dear.
Okay, so what I know of Ashif personally is other than the fact that he drops the most profound comments in this show, he posts the most beautiful, inspirational, and motivational type things. And they always strike a nerve, and it seems to always be when I need to hear it most.
Yes.
Good morning, Crystal Bay. Crystal Bay is a co-author in the next anthology launching July 1st. We choose to be more than our diagnoses. She's going to be speaking about her CPTSD. And Crystal also wrote a beautiful theme song for the book, and I'm excited to share that with everyone on launch day.
It's beautiful.
Miss Jo Joni, oops, I don't know if I'm frozen on my end, but I'm trying to bring her up.
There you go. You got it.
Hello, sweet girl. So, Miss Jo Joni here. Always graces us on the stage. She always has so much insightful things to share. And I'm really excited too because Joni and I have been chatting, and it looks like Joni might also be sharing her legacy this year with us in print and leaving her footprint for her future generations. Okay, and Christy D. Christy D is like the supporter of all time. I see her everywhere. She is always helping to promote other people's events. She does a lot of reposting, and needless to say, with this crazy algorithm, we certainly need the help. Oh, and last but certainly not least, that just popped in Sharon Rose Winfield. Sharon kills it in the comments. I love, love, love
Yes.
her shares.
Yes.
Whether they, whether we agree or disagree. I always learn something from her. And another lady that, I've had the opportunity to speak with as well in DMs. And, this whole opportunity here to co host with Leslie, allowed me to meet so many wonderful people. So I just want you to know I'm very, very grateful.
Yes, and I wanted to do this because this is the last day of this format, and acknowledging one another allows them to see how you reflect. We project who we are and what we're looking for. And that is, these things mean so much to us. We live in such a busy, frenetic, isolated world in so many ways. But this is one way where we can appreciate one another. And this particular series has been going on for a couple of years in this format. And so when Paulette Hallam became quite ill, Nicole stepped up. She had started her own business and was busy as can be, but she stepped up to step in. And there have been several other people. Kimberly Lechnick was also a co-host a couple of years ago. So to all of those who have been in support, I think it's time now. I need something new. And what I was thinking is gosh, I know a lot of really good mindset experts, and so do you. They will be here not necessarily for only one time, because I intend to have NLP come in and we'll do a couple of series. I'm going to invite Stanley Green, Power Thinking Corp, which is a very amazing program. So all of these people that I'll bring in have programs that you can opt into or not, right? So and the idea is you need more than what I have. I'm giving you everything I have. They want to do the same thing. And the truth is that if this is something that you would like to do, it's possible to let me sponsor your show so that there's a breakout and there's a commercial for you for a small fee. I don't usually go for money, but I thought it would be fun just to see what happens, right? Because there is a fair amount of exposure. Now, guests I will be asking them to bring in their community, as I will bring in mine and you will bring in yours. But the idea is for you to be exposed to other people that I personally see as masters at this point. That is, they put in the time, they have the results. They're not just talk. And they have a particular program. I want us to learn about positive intelligence and Power Thinking Corp and NLP. And I want Elizabeth Borquez to come in and give us some self-hypnosis training. So, which is mind over matter. So I'm very excited, and I want you all to reach out to with me private on direct messages. Who would you like to see? And next week, Nick is going to be our guest. And why would I have Nick as our guest? Well, because what you're going to see today, she's nailed all of them. So honestly, if she was in tennis or baseball or volleyball or swimming, she would be right there at the wall with Michael Phelps. She would be hitting the home runs because she has done the things that we're going to talk about today and is still doing, right, Nick? She's an evolution in process. So next week, we'll talk about how she actually implemented all this and what it was like to get into that fraction of less than 1%. It's really only 3% of people that are wealthy, happy, and healthy. Only 3% of people actually do these things. The rest of us don't. Excellent. Oh, perfect. Will you send me by DM? This is great. Anybody that you know that has results over time and has a unique program that you've watched people do well in. Okay. So here's what we're looking at today as I review the elements for today. We want to look at what is the mindset of a champion. What is it that those people who are champion athletes, what is it that they do that the rest of us don't do or didn't know to do or weren't ready or willing to do? That's what we want to find out. What is it that had Michael Phelps as an example? wins 7 swimming medals in the Olympics. But here's the thing. He only won by less than a fraction of a second. What did he do to reach the wall in a split second before anybody else? How did he do that? What was his mind over matter or his mindset? And basically, what we want to focus on here is everybody's natural fear of failure, criticism, and judgment. And the kinds of things that we say to ourselves as we go and we race or whatever it is we do. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not as good as everybody else. What happens if I fail? Maybe I shouldn't do it. I don't know if I can keep up with it. It's all self-deprecating based on the fear that if you screw it up, you're going to be humiliated because you have been in the past. So it's a real, real fear. But what we're going to talk about today is how to blow right through it, how to outweigh it, at least temporarily. You'll never outweigh them forever, all of them completely, because they don't disappear. But what we do through repetition and through completing our goal or our goals is that we build faith in our ability and our deservability. We have to disprove to ourselves that we won't screw up like we have before. And we've learned plenty, but nobody gets rid of those fears. We learn to manage them, and it's all about focus and practice, isn't it? So whether you're an athlete or whether you simply want to grow, your business, a family, whatever that big thing is for you. And of course, athletes have their big thing, winning and achieving a particular goal. You can do the same things they're doing, but you have to take on the mindset and do what they do, and have to be willing to get out of the masses and be part of the 3% who actually are wealthy, happy, and healthy every day, who choose that and know how to shut down that natural and other natural fears temporarily so that you can get back into action. Because you can't be self-confident and afraid at the same time. It's not possible. You're one or the other. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. And I wanted to ask Nick, did you have any questions about this before I bring up the slides, or anything you wanted to share? Because I shared this with you already, so I kind of want to know what you're seeing and what you're hearing, my friend, please.
I just want to say hi to Tamra and to the LinkedIn user that said they're coming in from Dubai. I'm sorry to hear that you're so close to what's happening with the war. Thoughts and prayers are with you for your safety and your safety of your family. About today's topic, so I'm excited to just jump right in.
Okay.
I really am, and there will come a time next week when I'm able to share some of the examples of what I've done, and I look forward to that. I wouldn't say that I am anywhere near Michael Phelps, but I will say that I have a goal to keep evolving.
Yes. And that's the main thing. Let me just say hello to Tamara. Gosh, Tamara, there he is. I haven't seen you in a while. Good morning. Are you asking if it's a good morning? Yes, it's a good morning. You have a question mark there. Tamara, missed you so much. Missed you being on LinkedIn. Please come back every so often and spread your loving kindness. Really appreciate it. And I'm trying to think who's in Dubai. Is that you, Roland? Roland, that you're in Dubai. Let me know. Oh gosh, be safe, my friend. Be safe. Prayers are coming to you. And then here is our beautiful artist from down under, Deirdre. And she is actually kicking around the idea of a book too. You better get in there fast because the docket is filled up. Okay. So let's jump right in and let's do this, because in about 10-15 minutes, I want a couple people to come up. We're going to end at 11 sharp, as I said. Okay, so what makes these people the best of the best? Now, I went to Google and I said, give me the top 10 over the last 100 years athletes. And then I went and I said, let me see, female athletes. So these are the people. And you probably know Jordan is basketball, Owens is track, Spitz is swimming, Phelps is swimming. Wilma Rudolph, she was a tennis player like Billie Jean King and Serena Williams. Nadia Comaneci was a gymnast, Mia Hamm, soccer, Nancy Lopez, golf, Danica Patrick, racing, Sonia Henney, ice skating, Steffi Graf. Oh, I see I got a whole lot more women in here. I wasn't happy with the list. It was all mostly men. So I decided to go find some women too. Chris Evert, Tiger Woods. Oh, I have Chris Evert in here twice. Okay. Ronda Rousey, a boxer. Mary Lou Retton, gymnastics. Martina Navratilova, tennis. And Lindsey Vonn, skiing. So what is it that makes them the best of the best? Now, one thing I'm going to drop in here when it has to do with Michael Phelps. Let me just bring this up here because this is my friend. Miss you enduring intense physical, mental, and discipline on you. Yes. Yes, I'm glad you miss us. Yeah, so I think you really like this. Now, one thing you'll know about me is that I like to synthesize things down to this most simple common denominators. So let's take a look at what they're doing, okay? And I realize this is a little teaching here, but here we go. Okay. Their best practices to overshadow the biggest fear we have, which is the fear of self-criticism or self-judgment or judgment by other people. So that's one of 6 basic fears. The fear of criticism or judgment. We all have it. We've all been criticized. We've all been humiliated. And we all have held ourselves back rather than speaking up because of this. So, but the best practices for people that can blow through their fears, acknowledge them, but not allow them to stop through the self-criticism, right? And self-replication. And what we say to ourselves is, well, I'm not smart enough. I'm not as good as they are. What makes me think after failing so many times that I could even be in the same arena as these people? You can. We all can do this. Why did they do it? I suspect that the reason that athletes know this, and Peter Molfler is a weightlifter, and I met him a couple of years ago. Thank you for being here, Peter. People that are athletes, their coaches know about mindset. My granddaughters are in gymnastics, and their coaches have them visualize doing a perfect thing. When I played the perfect landing, when I played racquetball, I visualized the kill shot before I hit the ball over and over and over again. Think about yourself. Peter, when he's weightlifting, he isn't weightlifting once a week. He's probably weightlifting 3 times a week with a break in between, where he does the upper body one day, 2 days later, the lower body, giving the upper body a chance to rest, which you see is number 5, right? And then come back a couple of days later and work that area again. That they are consistent, but they only have one goal. What we've learned through research is if you have more than one goal at a time, very little gets done. But effectively, we have one goal, and then we have mini goals, perhaps, or tasks to ultimately reach that goal. And we only do things that take us toward that goal. So if, for example, Chris Evert, the tennis player, or even Billie Jean King, they are rigorous in their consistent practice. And if someone said, hey, Billie Jean, give up practice today, let's go out and have lunch and have a few drinks, she would have said, no, let's do it another time after this. or when it's convenient, but they will not take their eye off the prize. They will not let anything distract them. So it has to be one goal, and you have to be compelled to be the one to do it. And you don't know how. And maybe you failed at it, but there's something inside you. There's something inside them that they fell in love with. So they were self-disciplined. It's like when you go into the gym and you don't want to go one day, but you make yourself go and you feel so much better. Then they're eating properly. They're doing mindset work. Like I said, my granddaughters, they're saying, visualize, do this. We know about this. When I played racquetball, I would take a court for an hour and play by myself. 20 kill shots, 20 ceiling shots. It's this catch and release. It's doing something immediately. And repetition is how we learn in spaced repetitive intervals over time. So that's why you have to be consistent. That's why you have to be disciplined. That's why only one goal. And then continuous learning, time management, huge one. One of my clients, very successful client, was with me for 4 years, which is 4 times 4, 16 business quarters and goals. The very first goal that we worked on with her is time management. Everybody wanted a piece of her time. She didn't want to do some of the things. She couldn't even get her regular stuff done. She was bombarded. She was moving everything around on her calendar, making room. Now, it came from the fear of poverty. That is, I can't slow down because I need money. When in actual fact, she didn't need the money, right, anymore. In terms of she wasn't in that place of poverty, but the belief, the fear that if I don't take on everything, then there's not going to be enough abundance for me. We spent 12 weeks working out her values and her boundaries, what things were going on her calendar that took her to her goal, whatever that one goal was, is to manage her calendar based on her boundaries and values. Big, because she was frantic, tearing her hair out. She had too much. So that's another thing. And then you have a support system. Thank you, Dr. Marcia. Look who's here. Yeah. Dr. Marcia, Tuesday, 8 a.m., a wonderful leadership live, 8 a.m. Eastern. Thank you for being here, Dr. Marcia. So these are the things that these people do. But here's the issue. Right? So let me get my mouse over here. God bless it. So now it's up to you to look at something here. If I can get my mouse over here. Here we go. Perfect. Now, these are the 10 steps to build faith and diminish the fear of criticism temporarily. Because remember, fear doesn't always go away, but when you first start out, it's tough because your inner voice is saying, yeah, but Leslie, like, you're not that good. I mean, you don't have any proof. You only proof you have, Leslie, is that you failed doing this. Why don't you just play it small? Let someone else stick their neck out. That's what we're saying to ourselves. So the questions are, when are you going to start and which will be your first step? Only one step. And if you set one goal at a time, then you can pick another one. But the idea here is you want to master this, which takes up to 3 months of your consistently focusing on it. So which one are you going to do? What area do you want to work on? You have to create faith in your ability and deservability to stay motivated through the achievement to disprove the old belief that you can't, or that you'll fail again. And every time you do something, achieve a goal that you've never done before, you failed at, you've built faith in your ability and deservability. It goes a long way to build your self-confidence. Self-confidence has to be built by faith, not by fear. So right now, our self-confidence typically is run by fear until you do this. And that's what these people are doing, right? This is what these people have done for years. So this is something you can do. This is basically the format that I use with my clients. The power of visualization, being consistent. It takes about 90 days. That is, if you're honest and you're also living your life. If you only pick one of these to focus on, you can still do everything else, but you want to master it so that you have faith in it, so that you don't forget about it, then go on to another one. Time management is, hey, Tracy, hi, it's so good to see you, is the hardest for me. Too many things happen at the same time. Yes, and you're absolutely right. And it's prioritizing based on your values, standards, and ideals. And that's the work that I do. So just, you have to, as Sharon Rose says, you have to take action. None of this is sitting around. Practice, right? Being disciplined, doing this every day or every other day, that you rest, that maybe it's going to be nutrition this quarter you're going to work on. So pick one of these, earmark 90 days. And the reason I use 90 days, my friends, is after 17 years and 62 business quarters, it's about as long as the best of the best will stay motivated to finish, because we have life. We have life. All right, let's take a look here and see what we have. Nick, you want to unmute as I'm looking through these? What's coming up for you? Which are these? Do you remember where you started, or better, which one do you feel is calling to you at this point in your life? There is no right or wrong.
I like the time management one and Tracy's comment. Time management was definitely something that was challenging for me. And I would say it's only a hurdle that I'm just now starting to overcome. Things moved very rapidly in the publishing company. And I knew when I started, I would be the person handling a lot, probably all. I didn't expect it to go where it went. And so therefore, and Leslie knows I've spoken to her about this, that fear of letting go, because I have this thing in my head that nobody's going to do it the way that I want it done. And I've had to pass off certain tasks to focus on the other tasks that really demand my attention now, and where my really heavy skill sets lay. Now, I was able to do the others because I needed to in the beginning, but now I am really taking my time management, looking at it carefully, so that I'm putting it in the high value activities. And believe it or not, part of that high value activity ties right into rest every week for me. Um, this past weekend, I dealt with but there was some guilt at not quote unquote working. I was still on social media, engaging here and there, but it turned out that I had a beautiful weekend. I did some gardening. I spent time running errands with my husband. We laid out in the hammock for a bit and talked about, our future plans. We went in the pool, and I woke up this morning, and I always wake up in the mornings feeling very reinvigorated, and my mind is always set, especially on Monday mornings, to set the tone for my week. But I woke up extra so this morning. And with it, the list that I had created, 1, 2, and 3 are done already. So I think that building in that rest every week as part of the process of achieving that kind of Olympian mindset is so important as well. They all are important steps, of course, but my thoughts.
Yes. And so we're all working on these. And let me just tell you about the time management piece. I had to create an entire program within my program for time management. because what I realized is people were robbing Peter to pay Paul. They were moving things around. And here's what happens when you don't set your calendar, or you don't yet set your calendar based on that one goal and things of value to you. What happens is, as you move things around, it breeds resentment. So here you are doing really well. You got people coming in, you got money coming in, any one of us, right? And we're busy, but something doesn't feel right. Now, after watching, like I said, I've done this, my program, since 2000, and it's been 65 business quarters. I started to notice that people were doing really well during their 12 weeks, Nick, but they weren't happy. Like I couldn't figure it out right away. Everything looked on the books, right? With their accountability calls, the tasks they had set, their calendars, all that looked good. But we couldn't figure out exactly. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And here's what was wrong. There is a universal law called the law of sacrifice. And that's what Nick was talking about. Hey, Crystal, I'll have you up here in just a second, my dear. Thank you for being here. What happens when you move things that you denote as high value and replace them with something of lesser value, or out of fear, out of poverty? Resentment begins. Because the law says that you are to give up things of lesser value to make room for things of greater value. So if you have everything on your calendar that's important to them, that's important to you, and you start moving stuff around, it's kind of like the poem Fog. And it starts out, fog comes in on little cat feet. That's what happens with resentment. So I was watching this and I found out that everybody was jiggling everything around, robbing Peter to pay Paul, trying to fit everything in. But there was no distinction between value and not value, and goal and not your goal. So I created Task Crusher, which includes everything you value. And I had a client who has 4 children, and she and her husband shuttled them to private schools, public schools, this, that, and the other. And nobody knew where anybody was. And the schools were distance away and people were working. She put everybody on this one calendar. So only things of high value showed up. So notice you had a lot of extra time. We think we don't have time, but once you cut out the things that really don't take you to your goal, that are really at someone else's behest, or your fear, right? That you're not going to have enough money if you don't take on everything. So it's a big one. Thank you for that. All right. So let me bring up Crystal and Joni. And thank you for being here. And I want to look at these comments. Here we go. So glad that you're here, my friends. Look who's here. Clinham. Thank you for being here. You know this man? And here is, let me just take this off for a second. There's Sandra. Sandra is NLP and a mindset expert. I'm so glad that you will be, I would love to have you be part of the next series. And let's see what else we have. I just want to make sure I haven't left anybody out. Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to bring this back up where you would. So did you want to speak, Crystal? Welcome for the stage. If you'll unmute yourself. Do you want to see any one of the 3 slides, or do you?
Well, in the private chat here, I did ask if you could send me that last slide, because I'd like to print it and just put it on my wall as a reminder.
Sure. I'll be glad. Yeah, I can post it in the, I can post it. Just remember where you got it. That's all.
Oh, always.
So, okay. So yes, do you want me to show the slide or do you want to just,
You can. I just was gonna, I just wanted to pop in and say hi and tell you guys I love you and give a little bit of testimonial because um y- the whole mindset thing, I may not always be there, but I'm always at least replay. And I've I've even sent you messages excitedly saying, hey, I did the whole mindset thing like that you've been talking about and listen to what just happened. Remember when I won the one slot, I called you all excited because it's like I do hear you. And you know, I do pay attention even though it doesn't always seem like it. And a lot of your mindset coaching has slipped through the cracks. You have that voice that even like through osmosis almost like your coaching works. But we've talked about how your voice is just so mesmerizing. I love it in Jack's book. You're
oh
just
my
doing
God,
amazing things.
yeah. So yeah, I just started doing
Mhm.
audiobooks. It's kind of
Mhm.
fun. It's a lot of fun. But I'm so glad to know that you're listening and that I have made a difference. I know Nick has too. And um, it really means a lot to hear you say that, Crystal. Thank you. And your lovely message by direct message. So I'm glad. And that's why the videos are there. So that it's repetition is how we learn, right? Through in spaced repetitive intervals over time. Part of the reason to only do one goal is so that you can also live a life, but so that you can replicate the process. If you try to do everything at once, if there is a process, it's lost because you're multitasking and you're jumping around and you're getting it done, but the power comes in distinguishing what exactly did I do so I could do it again.
And I also wanted to say thank you for that reminder because we all know, especially with my ADHD, I do multitask and I take on a lot of projects.
Yep.
And I have been slowing it down. Yes, now having two jobs in real life kind of forced me to, but I've been known to burn the candle at both ends. And you saying that and me watching the replays and being reminded of those little things has kept me to remember, no, even when you're doing your stuff, focus on one project at a time. This way it gets your full attention, it gets done properly, then move on to the next. Don't jump and go between them. That's why the song that I wrote, came out well because I focused on that. My chapter for the book, I'm so proud of. I
Mhm.
focused only on that and not every other thing going on. I have, like I said, you even from like osmosis, because I do sometimes listen to the videos while I'm like laying down taking a nap or whatever. I'll start them. You just have that voice that's just so mesmerizing.
Aw, thank you. Thank you. You're so kind.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's about living a life of wealth, health, and happiness. How can we do that? How can we be happy? Do we really want to be miserable but have a lot of money and not feel well? No, we really don't. And these people, these athletes are totally focused. And that's one of the things that we've lost with trying to do everything at once. It's so interesting to me that when there's a checklist, we do it one at a time, don't we? We make a checklist and we check them off, right? One at a time. Yet, why don't we do that when we're setting goals for ourselves? We prioritize the list. We got to say, okay, I want to get this, and done. And we tick them off one at a time. But why don't we do that with goals? I think it's because no one ever taught us. I haven't met anybody in the last 17 years that was ever taught how to set a goal to achieve it consistently. This will help you do that.
Mic
This,
drop.
uh, yeah. Well, this is it. This is the foundation of manifestation right here. This is the soil that you want to plant, but you've got to do this one at a time. You cannot, well, I'm going to do rest this week and I'm going to practice next week. It's like when we learned our multiplication tables. We did them every day or every other day, right? We didn't do them once a week. So there's a lot of proof that multitasking it diminishes focus and concentration. What would happen if all these athletes weren't focused or concentrating? They were very focused. Let me just say hello here. So thank you so much for that. Nick, anything you want to say to Crystal, or we'll move right over to Joni?
Love the share, and thank you so much. I am in agreement with you. I have the pleasure of learning so much through Leslie, and it challenges me to think outside of the box, think outside of my knowledge, um, and that's very helpful. And I do agree with you that the steps on the slide would be an excellent reminder of things that you need to put into practice. Like Leslie said, not here and there. They all need to be hit upon in order to keep that practice going.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is my work. This is the work that I've done. And you'll notice that I'm not selling. You rarely hear me sell anything other than I said you could sponsor the show. Right. And one of the things I'd like to do is do a workshop with Task Crushers so that everybody who really wants to get their head on straight about values and setting up their calendar and how to be strong, right, in the face of the fear of poverty. Now, if you're a corporate person, it's no big deal because you're getting that paycheck. It's for all those people that don't have that regular paycheck where this is a particular difficulty. Okay, so thank you for that, Nick. And let's have Joni. Joni, do you want to have this up here, or should I take it down?
Oh, you don't have to have that
Okay.
up there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
hi to all
Thank
my
you.
friends. I mean, there's so many great people in the audience who I've gotten to know over the past, few years. I have been part of like this LinkedIn audio community for now going on 3 years. So it's a wonderful kind of delight for me. This is what I do for like my mental health. So that is a good thing. And I just wanted to share a little bit of knowledge that do you know, so many adults in their 40s, let's say, but also 50s, 60s, have been diagnosed with some form of ADHD or some form of bipolar. It was so underdiagnosed, and sometimes it just starts later in life because maybe a trauma or you're just coming into your own, and it doesn't define you. Like no longer does that title mean like you are any bit different than anyone else. It just means maybe you have a more creative, spastic mind, and I certainly do. So it doesn't mean that you're bad. And in reference to sports, it was Michael Phelps, Simone
Biles,
Terry Bradshaw, Michael Jordan. They all have ADD or ADHD.
which I'm so glad you brought up this point, and I'm going to let Nick speak to it. Go ahead, Nick.
No, it's okay. You go first, and then I will.
Well, okay, so
it's just amazing that like a lot of people out there, and a lot of the creative types in Hollywood also have ADD. I mean, I listen to Dax Shepard's podcast a lot, and he has ADD, and it's something that's really special if you can harness it, because it does give you such great joy to be interested in so many things. I mean, look at me, like I have a construction company, I raise dogs, I'm going to restart up my podcast, which I just have been lacking on since LinkedIn stopped audio. And I love the creative things. I love to sing. I love to sew. I love to cook. I love to garden. And I'm curious about you, Nick, about your gardening, because my gardens, I am like wildflower overload. Like it's a messy garden. It's a colorful, messy garden.
Yeah, we'll have a coffee
It's
chat
like,
about that sometime because pecan pie is also like one of my favorites. But Leslie, what did you want to share?
What I was going to share with you was there was two things. One is that I've discovered, and I believe that the advantage is with those who are outside the mainstream. So that I have discovered and through experience that people that have that are somewhere on the spectrum actually have gifts that we don't have that they've developed and that we're all on the spectrum and it moves. And some days we are more so upset, right? And certainly people that are diagnosed. But what I've discovered is that these people that have ADHD and bipolar, and there's so many different ones, right? They're just labels for genius. As Sharon Rose says, she says they looked at them as superpower. We've just looked at it in the easiest way, which is we're teaching mainstream kids. And if you're extra smart or you're disabled, mentally educable, handicapped, as they used to call it, then there's something wrong and they're outside the mainstream. The problem is that those people are not in a deficit, they're actually advanced. So, to your point, now the other thing I want to share with you, again, we're getting very close to the end. So, I want to thank you, Joni, for being here and sharing that, bringing that up. It's so important. Two things. One is that when I speak with people who have these labels, I have discovered to be very straight with them, that they don't always get the innuendo or the sarcasm, right? Their thinking is much simpler and more clear. And they don't get if I'm being sarcastic, they look at me like, well, what does that mean? So I've learned to speak very straight with these folks to best communicate with them. They don't necessarily appreciate my sarcasm. Right? They appreciate it. Now, the last thing I'll share with you about Michael Phelps. Yeah. The last thing I'll share with you is look, there's a Japanese principle called Kaizen. And there are many Japanese principles, but this one is doing one extra thing every day that nobody else does. So just picture this: Michael Phelps does one extra lap every day. He has his routine. Maybe it's a half or one length of the pool, which is, I guess, a half a lap. But that is what those people are doing. They're exercising Kaizen, doing the one small thing every day that everybody else fails to do. And that is how that practice is likely how he won those 7 gold medals in under a second, right at the wall, because he was doing just that much more every day to increase his expertise. So, with that,
and Leslie, can I just say very quick, if you have one thing that just makes you happy, just one, like it could be a lot, but just choose one, like swimming, and do it. Just do it, because
yes,
life is so hard. life is so hard. And you know what? If that makes you happy, going swimming every day and pushing yourself, I say A plus to that, because that is um, a little thing that doesn't cost a lot of money that you can do to enhance
That's
your life.
right. And that's why I say just pick one of these things. Joni, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to close down here like in the next 60 seconds. I love you. We love you. I want to bring this back up. If I can
And
do
I
that.
just want to say I'm so sorry, Tracy. I know you were backstage. I look sorry. I know you stepped.
Tracy, I don't see Tracy.
She was backstage before, but possibly
Okay.
because of time. But she did write in the private chat comments that or she did say she was only here to listen if there was no time to speak, but she agreed that labeling geniuses is a great point.
Good.
So thank you for that.
Good. So this is the thing. Pick one. Take 90 days and master it. 90 days works. I'm not the first person to come up with. Do these things one at a time by the end of the year. If you were to do well, it certainly you will be amazed at how you've changed. And then also remember to send me a note about mindset experts, because next week we're starting with an interview series where I will bring in the best mindset experts with results and unique programs to expand your knowledge on mindset. You've pretty well tapped me out, everybody. Right? So I'll put this particular slide in the comments one at a time. Thank you, Nick. And I think I will end today right at 11:01 with our intro outro. Everybody have a phenomenal week. See you back here next week. Next Monday, I'll be interviewing Nick. She'll be our first one because on Tuesday next week, she's launching one of her books. But she is a mindset expert and she's done every one of these, right? All of them. She's amazing. So remember, anybody who's ADHD or bipolar, look at them differently. Look for their genius. You can learn from their genius. And that's what I do. That's how I learned to speak very simply, to be understood simply, so that there could be a rich dialogue. Thank you, Nick. You've been awesome. Thank you, everyone. Oh, hello, Heather. Heather, I didn't see you. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see what she said here. Perfect. That's right. Absolutely right. That is right. You do task lists one at a time, do everything that way. And now we will say goodbye. We love you. Have a phenomenal week.